Whitewater Independent Counsel Ken Starr with us now. Ken, always good to see you. Why do you say that?
Hey, thanks, Neil. Well, I say that because impeachment is doomed to fail given what we know. Now, obviously, the facts are flowing in. In the history of the country, obviously, presidential efforts to impeach do not work. That we know. But guess what? Of the 62 impeachment proceedings, 62 over the course of our hearings, 8 have resulted in convictions. 8. This is not going to result in a conviction. And so why are we on the impeachment train? We should be on the oversight train and quit calling it impeachment, especially since there really is something quite profoundly wrong under our Constitution to call it impeachment, that we're on a formal impeachment inquiry. No, with all due respect, until the House of Representatives votes as a body to conduct an impeachment inquiry or investigation, there is simply action by committees that's been sanctioned by the Speaker. It sounds like a structural point, but guess what? We live by structure in our constitutional republic.
So what would change, Ken, if they'd had a vote on whether they wanted to proceed to that next step? Because what they're doing now is leaving it to a half a dozen committees, largely, of course, the House Judiciary Committee, to get this ball rolling. What would change doing it the way you say?
First of all, there would be a formal action by the House resulting in, if there's any court fight, then a federal judge or a court of appeals or the Supreme Court knows this is the action of the people's House, not of the Speaker saying, I hereby smile on what these different oversight committees are doing. It would also have the practical effect of centralizing the inquiry as opposed to this balkanized approach that seems to be getting underway in the House Judiciary Committee, as we saw in the Clinton inquiry years ago.
You know, I'm getting a lot of Democrats like to point out, you know, when the Nixon hearing started, and that, you're right, I mean, that started out with a House vote to proceed. I think it was 7 out of 10 Americans thought it was a waste of time, that it was a party cabal piling on Richard Nixon. As the hearings ensued through the course of the summer, there were revelations, discovery that there was a taping system in the White House. You know that history far better than I. And the tide turned, and that's what Democrats seem to be counting on this go-round. What do you think of that?
Well, that's right. But the tide turned when it became clear that there were White House tapes, as you said. And by the way, that was not revealed by the House Judiciary Committee, but by an oversight committee, the Senate Select Committee. But leave
and
that
by the way, that was
aside.
Someone who just blurted it out in the course of remarks, right? I mean, but go ahead.
In the course of a deposition. That's how that came to be known. We now know the basic facts, or at least we think we know the basic facts, because the president, wisely or no, released the transcript. That's what this is all about. The interpretation of that conversation that the president had with the president.
But is there anything
Ukraine.
in that transcript, Ken, that troubles you? Forget about it being impeachable or not. You know, kind of trying to get out of another foreign leader essentially dirt on a potential opponent in the next election. I don't know whether that warrants a high crime or misdemeanor. You're the expert. I'm not. But as I've told you, I watch a lot of legal shows, so I think I am. But what do you make of that? Is that, without making light of it, is that something that bothers you?
Yes. I think what the president said, he used a word that was very, very wrong. Reciprocity. We need reciprocity. I'm embellishing even on that.
Right.
But that's not a crime. That's not a crime. I think it's poor judgment by the president. He should not have done that. So he is making the tie. And I don't think it's a crime, and I think that's the better view. I know people are saying, oh, that's a crime. No, it's not. But even if it is, guess what? The Clinton investigation and impeachment tells me you can be guilty of perjury. There's no suggestion of perjury. You can be guilty of obstruction of justice. There's no obstruction of justice. And we're still not going to remove this individual from office. Once again, the president has taken action that reflects his instincts, and sometimes his instincts get him into trouble. And it's very unfortunate. So, yes, I was troubled by that. Okay. When you look at the entirety, and I've studied the transcript very briefly, the whole transcript is about, hey, this is great. We're working toward honest government together. We're collaborating. And here's something that's very, I think, unfortunate in the revelation of this, and that is lots of criticism by both of these leaders, our president, the president of Ukraine, of Angela Merkel by name. Emmanuel Macron by name, of the European Union. These are confidential conversations.
Yeah, that's the
So
collateral
entire
damage. That comes to light
Right.
when this comes to light. Ken
Right.
Starr,
Right.
always good having you. Thanks for coming in on a Saturday, no less. Always
Hey.
good seeing you.
Good to see you.